Hello watch fans, it's Anders here on Watch On channel. Very recently I did a collection overview, a state of the collection video. You can find the link down below or click on up in the right hand corner if you want to see my collection. I just wanted to make a kind of comparison and also just a little talk about two of my favorite watches in my collection, two of my favorite chronograph watches and two of the most legendary chronograph watches and most legendary designs within sports chronograph watches ever made. So on the left side we have the Heuer Monaco, and on the right side here we have the Omega Speedmaster Professional. This is an automatic watch, which was really the point of why this watch was introduced in 1969. And this is a manually wound watch. It also comes in an automatic version, but the whole point with this watch is that it's very faithful to the original Omega Speedmaster that was introduced in 1957 and later on in 1969 went to the moon and kept on going to the moon for several years afterwards. So these are two of my very favorite watches, two of my favorite chronograph watches. I have kind of a 5-piece dream collection of sports chronographs, and the Monaco and the Speedmaster is of course two of those watches. Then I also have the El Primero from Zenith. That's just a very legendary watch, and just in a few seconds I will get into why the El Primero from Zenith and the Monaco from Heuer, Tag Heuer, really have a very interesting history together. Also, of course, the Rolex Daytona, and also of course the Breitling Navitimer. So those 5 watches, it's kind of my dream chronograph collection. So I'm 2 up, I got 40% of the collection, I need the other 60%. So why not start with the history of this one? Of course the Omega Speedmaster Professional, the moon watch, first watch on the moon. The history is very well known. In July 2019, it actually celebrated its 50th anniversary of being the first watch worn on the moon. And that's just a history and a marketing history that Omega just keep on talking about. But putting all the marketing aside, who can actually say that they have a watch that was on the moon? It's absolutely an amazing history, and to this day this is one of the best choices if you want a true luxury watch from a luxury brand with a beautiful history and heritage. I would definitely recommend the Omega Speedmaster Professional, the manually wound with the Hesselite crystal, which is this version. The particular reference number is absolutely crazy. It's 311.30.42.30.01.006. The movement inside of this, on the paper 42mm big watch, but in reality 40.7mm big watch, is the 1863 movement, which is actually based on a Lemania movement. So on the dial we get different sub-dials, so running seconds here at 9 o'clock, 30-minute counter at 3 o'clock, and 12-hour counter at 6 o'clock. And then we get the Omega logo. Let me just start the chronograph. On the outer part of the dial here, on the bezel, you get the tachymeter, because originally in 1957 this watch was introduced as a racing chronograph watch, not actually built to go on the moon or something like that. It was actually a racing chronograph watch. So amazing watch, beautiful watch. These can be had at around $4,000 on the secondary market. This I bought on the secondary market. This particular watch is from 2016 and I got it in a very nice condition. I got it in the big crazy box. Click up in the right hand corner if you want to see the crazy packaging of this watch. So I also today got my little helper here, my little razor, and if you are wondering which of these two watches is his personal favorite, as you can see here, it's definitely the Tag Heuer Monaco. So this is also a very legendary racing chronograph watch with a beautiful history. Actually, it turned 50 years this year, and this is also why Tag Heuer have introduced, I believe it's 5 very limited new versions of this famous square sport chronograph watch. So originally this was of course produced by Heuer, but Heuer got in trouble during the quartz crisis and was bought by TAG, and then it's called TAG Heuer. So this watch was introduced in 1969 after a long and tough competition with Seiko and Zenith, and also together with Breitling and Hamilton. TAG Heuer, or Heuer back in that day, actually managed to make the very first automatic chronograph movement. So until 1969, when this movement, the Zenith El Primero movement and also the Seiko automatic movement, which was kind of in the dark, was introduced, chronographs were all manually wound like this one. So it was a huge step in watchmaking and innovation in the watch world to introduce an automatic self-winding movement. So actually back with the first version, Heuer actually decided to put the crown on the left side of the watch, just to actually in the design show the watch users that you don't have to wind the watch. If you wear this, the watch it's self-winding. So this watch was produced until I believe the mid-70s. Then it was taken out of production and it lay dormant until 1998 when TAG Heuer introduced the watch again. They started to produce the watch. So they produced a very low number, I believe it was around 5,000 units, and then it lay dormant again. And in 2003 they introduced it as the Steve McQueen Monaco. The reason why they introduced it as the Steve McQueen Monaco was that the original Heuer Monaco was actually used in the movie Le Mans from 1971 with Steve McQueen. Later on, this watch actually gained fame again because it was used in the series Breaking Bad, where Bryan Cranston's character Walter White was wearing this watch, and it actually plays a quite big role. So today, this watch comes in a lot of different versions. It also comes in a very faithful version to the original with the crown on the left side and the non-sunburst dial. This is the sunburst dial. It comes in a very nice light blue. And also it comes in a version with the Heuer logo and not the TAG Heuer logo. So this watch actually won part of the competition, or the TAG Heuer, the Heuer movement together with Breitling and Hamilton won part of the competition in 1969. Because actually Zenith, the El Primero movement, which is actually used to this day and was actually also for many years used as the base movement for the Rolex Daytona, it actually won the competition because it was the first automatic chronograph movement introduced. But the Heuer Breitling Hamilton movement was actually the first movement to get into mass production, and today it's not the original movement. This is from the reintroduced version of the Heuer Monaco, which was reintroduced as I said in 2003. This is the 2113. It comes with an ETA movement. The ETA movement is the 2894-2, so it's not an in-house movement. They do regulate it, they do modify it, and if you open the watch, it also comes with a see-through case back. They actually also do a little finishing on the movement and also apply a TAG Heuer rotor. A legendary watch because of the square case, which is very unusual. This watch is approximately 38 millimeters in diameter, but it wears a lot bigger. So let's just have a look on the wrist here. So this particular watch was produced in 2007 and I got it pre-owned at approximately $3,200. So as I can see on the used market today, you have to pay approximately $3,500 if you want a pre-owned example of the TAG Heuer Monaco. So as you see, it's a very prominent, very big and very masculine watch. I really enjoy this watch, and it's of course also a chronograph. As you can see, you have the running seconds here at 3 o'clock, and here at 9 o'clock you have the 30-minute counters. On the Omega Speedmaster you get the 30-minute counter, so you can actually count up to 12 hours with this watch. So that's kind of a more long-lasting chronograph. This is definitely for more shorter time periods. Biggest difference is of course, apart from the design, that it's an automatic movement and it's a manually wound movement. But the cool thing is that both these watches comes with Hesalite crystal. Both of this was in very nice condition, but this was kind of beat up when I got it. you're actually able to use different materials, and then you can actually scratch out scratches. You can wipe out, polish out scratches on the Hesalite crystal. You can click down in the link below in the description or up in the right hand corner if you want to see the full review of this watch, and of course also if you want to see the full review of the TAG Heuer Monaco. So bottom line, I can't really decide which of these watches is my favorite. I really enjoy both. I enjoy this because of the heritage, the history, the beautiful design, and this is actually kind of an anonymous watch. It's kind of a more everyday watch than the TAG Heuer Monaco, because the Monaco is a very big and very masculine and different watch because it wears quite big on the wrist and it's square, of course. I really love both of these watches. They will never leave my collection, and I just really wanted to show you these two watches side by side. I definitely hope that this video was interesting with the history and the comparison of these two watches, and I hope you want to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet subscribed. Also remember to leave a comment down below which of these two watches is your favorite within sports chronographs, and which sports chronograph watch is your personal favorite. I would really like to hear. Follow me on Instagram and also on Facebook, and share this video with all your friends on the forums and on the Facebook groups. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you very soon. Bye.